Hey, it's your boy, the Crypto Goon, and shout out to all my crypto goons for pulling up once again. $1,000 into this cryptocurrency will put you in the top 1%. Let's talk about it. So now what we're looking at right now is Stellar Lumens, XLM. And if you aren't hip, if you haven't done any research on it, or if you haven't been paying attention, this right here is a sleeper. It is somewhat similar to XRP, but it is more affordable for the average person and it has a lot of value. Now, before I get into the technical analysis and what I foresee in the future for XLM, I just want to hop over here just to, for anybody that needs to catch up that is new here. I talked about XLM back in December, how we want to have some downside momentum before we launch to the moon. So as you can see here, back in December, I posted this and I said XLM will make its move down into this area and then we will start to see bullish momentum. So if I hit the play button here, so as you can see, we came down, okay, with precision accuracy. Now, if you watch my older videos, I talk about this, how I use the Fibonacci to determine these, bullish and bearish movements in these cryptocurrencies. Now, here's one thing that I want to talk about. I get this question all the time. Short-term target, $1.55. Long-term target, $14.40. Okay. So keep that in mind. I get that question on every video, although I always say it, but I just want to say it loud and proud for everyone out here that is watching to hear. Now, if we hop over to coin market cap, as you can see here, 86% of the community over at CoinMarketCap is bullish on XLM. So we're talking about 119,000 votes or so on XLM. I myself am bullish on XLM, but I love to, even during when it was in correction territory, right? So this downside right here, I call this a correction. Even when it was in correction, I was dollar cost averaging. And once we reached this area, that's when I loaded up. Now, just to kind of bring you up to speed, with XLM, we are in a bullish triangle pattern. Okay, what we are doing right now is waiting for the breakout, but we are still picking up XLM at a very good price. Okay, so last video we talked about, so if I break this down to the 4 hour, let me bring it back together. Actually, I'll bring it down to the daily. We were talking about these channels, okay? So we started off in a bearish triangle pattern. I love triangle patterns. That's just my thing. And then we broke down into this channel right here, right? Now, channels really aren't my favorite, but they can kind of give you an indication because, where the market is going. And this particular channel was headed down, and then we had this breakout here. Well, now we are forming a new channel, okay? So this gives us an indication that we are now in or headed towards bullish momentum, okay? So now we are starting to move up. So what I'm looking for here is obviously for it to continue to bounce within this channel, okay? Like so, here, here, and then at some point we will create a new high, or I guess you can say over, several months high, and then we will create another channel like so, okay, as it starts to move up with XLM, because we're entering into that bull market. Now we are waiting for several things. Obviously, we are waiting for Bitcoin to lose its dominance. Once Bitcoin loses its dominance, then that's when we normally see the altcoin season begin to start. And I believe that the altcoin season will end around August or September, and then we will move into another correction. Some of these cryptocurrencies will move sideways. Some will actually, go into a full correction downward. So if I actually bring up the total market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, so let me go to the monthly, and I always use the monthly chart because it's easier to predict these things on a long-term view than it is a short-term view. You're trying to predict these things on the hourly, sometimes even the 4 hour. It takes a certain skill set. Doing it using a long-term time frame makes it 10 times easier. So Back a couple months ago, I talked about how we were going to break out of this bullish triangle pattern, have a retest. As you can see, I actually left the lines here for you to see a retest, which we saw here, and then a move up. So this is the total market cap. And as you can see, it's expanding, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are the top two cryptocurrencies. So as more money pours into, the altcoins, when we're excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, we're talking about the altcoins, you start to see these things going to a bull run. Now, what's important to know is that certain cryptocurrencies will outperform others, okay? Especially the ones that have real world utility. Now, XLM has real world utility, right? The cross border transactions, anyone that has ever used it, you can send money pretty quickly. Very similar to XRP, although XRP, I believe, is in the forefront because they have larger and better partnerships than XLM. But that doesn't mean that XLM isn't trying. The other thing that you want to look at is their leadership, right? The moves that they're making outside of just the cryptocurrency itself, because those fundamentals play a huge role in how this thing reacts and the adoption of it, which is something that we should all pay attention to. So if I go to CoinMarketCap, so currently XLM Stellar Lumens is number 14, the 14th largest cryptocurrency. Okay. Me personally, I pay more attention to, again, not, I don't really pay attention to meme coins, but I pay attention to cryptocurrencies that are that you can use in the real world and that other companies and institutions can use in the real world to make our lives better and easier and faster. If we want to send money faster, right? I pay attention to those things. I don't pay attention to the hype with the meme coin. Pepe is up, 400%. I don't pay attention. I don't pay any attention to that. And the other thing when it comes to technical analysis is that we get the bird's eye view and the heads up before things happen, because the patterns kind of tell the story of what's going to happen in the future. And again, feel free to look at my previous videos where, I predict these movements before they happen, and, several weeks or a month goes by and they pan out. Okay. So again, it's something that is, it's a skill set, but it takes time to learn. But the more you watch the videos, the more you try these things on your own using TradingView, the better you get at it. We call it practice. Now, one other thing that I want to point out is that you should pay attention to the YouTube trends. Currently, right now, XLM, the cryptocurrency, we're in 18. But when you see these humps, this is when people get notifications from Coinbase. XLM is up, a dollar or 50 cents or 100%, whatever. And this is when larger players, use these uneducated public to they use them as exit liquidity, right? So just looking at this right here, right now, January 19th to the 25th, XLM reached an 86 and then it dumped, right? So if we go to January of 2025 on the chart, right here, that is when we started to see XLM on a decline, okay? So I just want you all to pay attention to that. Like if we go to November of 2024, right? Go to November of 2024, right here. See this large candle that right here? That's when the notifications were going out. Everybody that doesn't know anything really about cryptocurrency but has a Coinbase account, that's when they got in, and then the market tanked on them. Okay, so while you're looking at this and you're taking these positions and you're looking at these cryptocurrencies, go and look at the popularity of the searches. That tells you everything you need to know. So as you can see here, we're starting to move up. Right? We were flat, right? We've been flat for a while, but we're starting to move up. Okay. So the more that XLM increases in price, the more the popularity increases, the more the notifications go out, and the more people start to, the dumb money, as long as you're not getting at the top, you're smart money. But once we reach into this area up here between 75 and 100, that is when the dumb money enters. And if you're somebody that wants to take profits, that's when you should do so. So I have some XLM, again, locked away on a cold wallet. And then I have some that I keep on the exchange that I, just get rid of just to take profit on. OK, you can call it a day trade or whatever you want to call it. But that's what it is. But again, I just wanted to just bring you all this update on XLM. I appreciate you watching. Shout out to all my crypto goons for always tapping in. Crypto Goon out.